Okay, guys, I'm excited about this video because I think we can tackle a topic that looks a lot scarier on paper than it actually is. Okay? So let's review a couple things first. I've already pre-drawn this graph, and let's confirm visually that this blue curve here is in fact a functional relationship. If I try to draw a vertical line anywhere, I'm going to pass through at most 1 point. And so that means my function passes the vertical line test, or my curve it passes the vertical line test, and it is a function. Okay? So since it's a function, I'm calling this function f of x. This is the function named f, and the value of y depends on the value that I evaluate for x. All right? So if I were to ask you, let's pick red. I don't like red very often, so I may change my mind. But if I were to ask you, what is f of 2? Recall that this 2 is the x value. And I want to know when x equals 2, the function equals the y value. What would be the y value? So I go to my graph, where x equals 2, it's this point right here. So this point indicates that when, oh, my picture's wrong. Oops. So the graph indicates that when x equals 2, the y value is 3. Ignore this 4. That 4 should be a 3. Let's fix it right now. Let's see if I can erase this. I need a small eraser. There we go. Okay, cool. So now I can put a 3 in there. Shabam. So back to what I was trying to say. This graph indicates that when x is 2, y equals 3. So what is f of 2? Well, when x equals 2, y equals, you got it, 3. All right. With that really good hint, what do you think f of negative 3 is? If you want, pause the video, make a guess, and then unpause. According to me and my eyeballs, f of negative 3 should be 5. Come out to where x equals negative 3. Find the point on the graph right here. So when x equals negative 3, y equals 5, that's it. That's really all there is to this. Okay? So the other flavor of this question, I could ask it in reverse. So one thing that I want us to recall is this was a function. It passes the vertical line test. Okay? Which means that anywhere I have an x value, that x value is uniquely paired with a y value. So here, when x equaled negative 3, there was just the 1 point where y equaled 5 and only 5. There's no other point on this graph where x equals negative 3. But that uniqueness is only one way, okay? Each x has to be uniquely paired with a y, but each y doesn't have to be uniquely paired with an x, which is an important question which is an important distinction because sometimes we might ask the question, when does f of x equal something like 0? It doesn't have to be 0. It could be some other number. But what's the heart of this question? I gave you a number. I gave you 0, but 0 represents which variable, the x or the y? That's the y. So how do I answer this when x is an unknown? Very, very similarly, but this time instead of going to a specific x, I'm going to go to a specific y. So I want to go to where y equals 0, and that's coincidentally here. And then I want to look left and right. Are there points where the y value is 0? And there are. There's 2 of them. There's this point at x equals negative 5, and there's this one at x equals 4. So the fullest correct answer to that question is when does f of x equal 0? When x equals, oh, wrong color. Pardon my OCD. I've got to fix it. Boop, boop. F of x equals 0 when x equals -5 and 4. If you're typing this into like your homework, I think you can get by with just saying -5 comma 4. But if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Okay. That's kind of really sort of all there is to it. If I wanted to know one last point that I can use, what is f of 0? Then this time, once again, that 0 is the x coordinate. So I go to where x equals 0, which is right here. I look up and down, and I've got a point right there. So when x equals 0, what does y equal? To the best of my artistic ability, 2. So f of 0 equals 2. That's the y value. Ta-da! And that's it. It's just reading points off of a graph. Looking for a y coordinate given an x coordinate, or looking for an x coordinate given a y coordinate. That's it. Okay, nobody get this wrong on quizzes or tests. Deal?